Amy Moran. I'm here with Compassionate Sioux Falls. Compassionate Sioux Falls is a city initiative that encourages people to act with compassion. In addition, we like to recognize organizations, individuals, and groups in our community who continually act with compassion. And we're lucky today to have with us Paige Sarda, who is with REACH, an organization in our community who does wonderful things. Hi, Paige.
Hello.
So tell us about REACH. What is it?
Sure. We've been around for over 30 years. We started out as Sioux Falls Area Literacy Council, changed our names a couple of years ago, but our primary mission is to teach adults to read.
And I think when you started, did it have something to do with the prison system?
We did. We were a prison ministry, and they would go up to the prison and teach folks up there how to read. And then as the prison got its own system, then they would work with people on parole or probation. And over time, and as our cities changed, we do a lot of work with refugees, immigrants, migrant workers, things like that as well.
So why did you decide that you would change the name to REACH?
Well, you know, when you look at, when I came on board, I was heavily involved in nonprofit. I didn't know who we were. So that was a big red flag. But also, it's a really long name. Sioux Falls Area Literacy Council is pretty long. And if you're not literate or it's challenging for you to find information, if you just type in Sioux Falls, a million things pop up.
Right.
And so we really wanted something that we could make that looks more like a logo. And we also, so if you were looking for something, most of our learners are visual. That's how they're finding stuff. We wanted something that they could grasp. They're like, oh, I recognize that. The other part of that was that when I would sit like this with people and talk about what they want, they were reaching for something else. Like reading was a beginning platform for them, but they were always reaching for something else. I want to be able to help my kids in school. I want a better job. I want to go to school myself. So it just seemed like a good fit.
It is a good fit. So what ages do you work with?
Anybody 18 and older. We get a lot of requests for kids, and that's not out of the question. There's some things we're kind of mulling around, but you know, once you graduate from high school or once you become an adult, so to speak, it's really hard. It's hard to get help.
And so in our community, I think I know you have a number of programs, and some of them work with businesses. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I think the most challenging thing that we've found out is that how can we get our services to more people? You know, we really wanted to reach a larger population, because statistically, if you think about our community, we're looking at a minimum 6% of our population is illiterate. Well, that's about 16,000 people just kind of in this area. That's a lot of people, right? And if we're only serving 100 people a year, that's not enough. You know, we need to figure out a better way. And so we started looking at, how else can we find you? So we started going to apartment complexes, and we teach on site at lower income or fixed income apartments. This week we're going out to all the grocery stores, ethnic grocery stores, just to talk about our program. And then the other thing we started doing is that we start tutoring on site at businesses. So we've worked with Grand Prairie Foods, and we tutor on site for them. It's one less barrier. You know, you're tired and you're exhausted, and as soon as you go home, just like I do, I just want to stay home. Even if I really want to learn how to read, I just kind of want to stay in my chair. We're working with Sanford Health. We're going to start back up in the fall. We work with their environmental services, and hopefully, you know, kind of expand that service as well. I just think it's a nice program. It's really helpful for the business, and it's also great for us too.
Oh, certainly. And so when people learn to read, how do you do that? What kind of staff do you have?
Right, and we're pretty much a volunteer. It's myself and another coworker, so we always say world domination takes time, but we're getting there. But we have a really great group of volunteers, and so you know, we do tutor training for our volunteers. I mean, it really depends on where you're at as a learner. We have some people who are completely illiterate in their own language. Maybe they only speak a tribal language, and so there isn't even a written. So we just have to start with the basics of the ABCs, because you're learning a language you don't even have a background in. And for other people, it's that they would have to just learn how to speak English. They already have the basics. They can speak and read and write Arabic or French or whatever it is, and they're intelligent. Everybody's intelligent. It's just having the tools, and so a lot of it's comprehension. So we run into a lot. Sometimes just learning the basics, but comprehension's a big one. Like, do I understand what I'm reading?
Exactly.
And so we do a lot of work with that.
So with the tutors, how could somebody become a tutor? How can they help your organization in that way?
You know, basically, we ask them to fill out a small application. We come in and we do just a short interview to kind of, you know, what's your expectation, you know, and what do you think it's going to be like? And, you know, it's hard. It's hard to tutor somebody because it's very frustrating because you want it to be fast and it's not. And people are fickle, right? Like, you have this great, you know, it's really altruistic for you, and, you know, you have to keep in mind that you're doing your tutoring for yourself, but you're helping somebody, and so you have to take their interest first.
Right.
And so then they go through a tutor training. We actually put them then also in with a group tutoring, and they watch and observe tutoring there too to see if it's really a good fit for them, if they like it. They can shadow, kind of like job shadowing.
Sure.
That's been really helpful for people to see that. We try to pair them up with another tutor so it feels less threatening as well.
Exactly.
So you have a partner in crime, kind of.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's always nice to have somebody else there
Yeah,
with you.
just as a backup. If you like I'm stuck. I don't know how to. We're stuck on this word. We don't know how to get around it. What else can you come up with?
So about how many people do you think that you would serve in a year?
Last year we served 180. And so we're hoping we'd like to be over 200 this year, but we'll see. It's sometimes you have people sign up for stuff and don't follow through, but we really have created a program now where it's just an introductory course. So people want to I'd like to learn how to read. And if we're not at your business, we're like, great, you can just show up.
Oh, sure.
And it gives them an opportunity to try it without the pressure of it's harder than I thought. I don't have time. I don't know what to say. And so it's a drop-in. They can come and go as they want. And so we like that opportunity to at least expose you to it.
Sure, and I would think that it would take community members to kind of work up their courage to come in and say they need help. Do you find that?
Yeah, I would say that in our, refugee migrant population, it's less challenging for them because they know they don't speak the language.
Sure.
So that's an easy out. What we're really struggling with right now is finding people who we would just consider like ABE or adults just who need basic education. Because most folks who either graduated from high school or maybe dropped out in the 8th to 10th grade really won't admit that they have low reading skills. Mm-hmm. They'll just say, I'm not a great reader, or I'm a poor speller, which is really code for I can't spell at all. Or, so that's probably our more challenging, is to find that population because we know they exist. And so we're working hopefully to do like a numeracy program, kind of a math boot camp. More people would be willing to admit that they're poor in math before they're willing to admit that they're poor in reading.
Oh, sure.
Right?
Sure.
I'm poor in math. But, but if you want to get a job in construction or you want to do retail, you've got to have some basic math skills. So maybe that's an opportunity for us to at least expose you to our program and give us an opportunity to talk about and kind of weed out, you really could use extra help, and here's a way for us to help you.
Tell us about your bookstore.
It's awesome. You should come if you haven't been there. It's great. We had a bookstore for 2 years, and Canfields was really generous to let us use their space in the basement. It was kind of green. You could have done a weather report on the wall there, but it's hard to get to. You had to drive up on the curb, which Larry didn't appreciate. But and so now we just moved into our literacy center. We're over at the Western Mall on the south side by Kids to College. And Prairie Berry's moving in next door, so we're excited about that. The nice thing, though, it's super easy to get to. It's really been nice for community to be able to come over and an opportunity for us to talk about our program, too. So people come in, they donate books, they buy books, and all that money goes back to support our adult literacy mission. So it's just been a great way for us to bring the community into seeing what we actually do as a real mission.
So if individuals in our community want to find out more about what you do, where can they get that information?
Well, they should stop at the bookstore because our volunteers are really great. I can hear them all the time in the back saying, did you know that if you spend $50, that's enough to buy materials for a tutor? So they're really good about pushing the mission. But you can go to our website at reachliteracy.org. We have a Facebook page, we have Instagram, and there's a ton of information on there. You can fill out a small application if you're interested, whether you want to be a bookstore volunteer or just a tutor. Because some people like literacy, but they don't necessarily want to work, teaching.
Sure.
They just like sorting, organizing, and we're happy to help them out.
Well, thanks so much for all you do in our community.
Yeah, well, thank you for letting me be here.
Yeah, really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
That you have touched that many lives. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. If you'd like more information about Reach, as Paige said, you can find it on their website. They have a Facebook page. And stop in and visit the bookstore. If you'd like to know more about Compassionate Sioux Falls, you can find that information on the bottom of the screen. Thank you.